Hello and welcome to Smiling in the Dark, the podcast where we, your resident smilers, put the kids to bed, unlock the door, turn off the lights, and smile our way through the horror, one theme, one subgenre, and one sleepless night at a time. I'm Ross.
I'm Adam.
And this opening season, we've been focusing on the films that invented some of our favourite horror subgenres. Last episode, we tackled meta horror with the cult classic Scream, but this week it's all about found footage. Now, we could and probably should have started, Adam, with Cannibal Holocaust, but not a film I've ever seen before. What about you?
It's not an easy one to get through.
Right.
I have seen it.
Okay, so
pretty tough.
So probably best we started with what we have, which is a cultural phenomenon. I don't think it's unfair to say.
Yeah.
One that's certainly spawned about 1,000 poorly done copycats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about paranormal activity films, but not really my bag, I have to say.
I remember being quite enthusiastic for the first one and watching it and quite enjoying a lot of it until right near the end. I think when I don't really know how far they're going to go with it, I'm quite enjoying it. And then they just took a step too far and I was like, I'm done.
Okay. But they've kicked the arse out of that, though. They're still doing them, I think.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting idea. You can surely only do so much with
it. Indeed. Well, we're not doing paranormal activity anyway. It's the Blair Witch Project for us. It's 1999. We're back in the peak of our lives. And, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Adam, what's your background with the Blair Witch Project?
So I first saw the Blair Witch Project in a cinema in Glasgow.
Oh, mate, you saw it in a cinema?
Yeah, and it was like a late night screening. I think it might have been a midnight screening. And I was staying at a friend's house and we decided, it was like student flat share situation, and we decided to sort of scare the other people that stayed in the flat by trying to craft these little figures from twigs and stuff we found in the garden and then just leaving them scattered around the house. But the problem was the people we were scaring hadn't been to see the film, so I don't think they really had any idea what was going on.
There's this really nifty crafter keeps leaving stuff lying about. And did you find it first time in the cinema? You must have found it scary.
I found it quite unnerving, but I think, there were a lot of people who I think were believing it as real, and or wanting to put out there that they were believing it as real. And I couldn't get into that. I was like, this is purely for entertainment purposes, and that was always in my mind. But I did enjoy it for what it was, and because it was really different to anything I'd seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you?
I can remember. So remember we used to get the old magazines like FHM and things like that. I can remember being on a bus ride somewhere, and I must have bought FHM to go on the bus ride, and reading about it at the time, and they were playing it. The article was sort of playing it off like it was a real thing, and I remember being like quite fascinated by it all, and they're talking about the actors that were in it being missing or presumed dead or whatever. Yeah. So I remember being quite intrigued by it all. But then the first time that I saw it, I can't remember when I saw it. Definitely not the pictures, but I was terrified of it. Right. Absolutely terrified. We speak about it all the time. It's the things you can't see. So your mind just does the adding up for you. And mine's just putting 2 and 2 together and seeing all sorts of witches and demons and
nice.
So yeah, and I have pretty much refused to watch. It's the scene at the end when he's facing. There's something so freaky about him facing the corner, which he would be doing. He would have to be doing against his will, but there's no one there, and there's something really freaky about that just put me off it, and I never watched it again for years and years. You and I watched it for other reasons. When was that? Maybe a couple of years ago or something?
Yeah,
Was it
something
longer?
like that, yeah.
I enjoyed it then. I was still scared to watch it then, though. And I remember coming after watching it and saying, you had no idea what the big deal. Why was I making such a big deal of this? So this time, I would say, is the first time I've watched it and just relaxed and just watched it.
Yeah.
You might want to say that I was smiling in the dark as I watched it. So yeah.
Nice.
I love that. I love that you saw it in the cinema. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I saw it that way. And then I don't think I rewatched it for ages. I think it was one of them that I probably bought about 10 years later on DVD when that was the thing to do, and watched it then. So I'll have had a bit of a gap. I think it is one of those. Well, I've had a few films, and we've got a few coming up that are like this, where you'll never quite, I don't think, recreate that first experience of watching it because you don't know what you're about to see.
Yep, 100%. Okay, shall we? Let's get into the Blair Witch Project. Sounded uncannily like Josh away somewhere in the... Was his name Josh? Am I making that up? His name was Josh, wasn't it?
I think it's Josh. Yeah. Josh, Heather, and Mike. Yeah.
Okay, the Blair Witch Project was the brainchild of writers and directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, and was eventually filmed and marketed for around $750,000. Today, it has made upwards of $250 million.
Wow.
So here's the synopsis. I'm sure everybody listening to this will know the synopsis. 3 young students, Heather, Josh and Mike, hike into the Appalachian Mountains near Burkittsville, Maryland, to shoot a documentary about a local myth known as the Blair Witch. So there we go. There's little bits and pieces I've got here. Before we get into talking through the film, I've got some little bits and pieces about what sort of happened behind the scenes. So the 3 main actors, I don't know if you know this, the 3 main actors have sued Artisan Entertainment, which I assume produced the film, claiming unfair compensation for their involvement in the film. When you look at those figures, it was $750,000 to make, and it's made $250 million.
Yeah,
I can't imagine they were paid very much. Can you?
No, the whole style of it screamed low budget even before I looked up the figures that were involved, and I don't think they're certainly not established actors at this stage. But I did find, I did some of this research. I found some of this actually more fascinating than the actual content of the film, I have to say.
Well, I saw that they're making a new one. I think 2027, possibly.
Okay.
And the 2 guys that played Josh and Mike, the actors, they're down as executive producers for this new one. So I assume, at least they will be in line to make some extra money off that. I don't know what's happened with the actress that played Heather.
Okay.
The film has spawned sequels, novels, comic books, and video games. I cannot imagine what a Blair Witch video game is like, can you?
No, that's an interesting one. I mean, how do you win?
I can't imagine sitting in my bedroom in the dark going away into that wee house. Nah.
Can you play as the Blair Witch? Maybe that, and your goal is just to get people
just
into
to fuck
the house
with them. You have to sit and pressing a couple of buttons to wind up some twine. And I was just going to say that the film, without a doubt, kickstarted the trend of making movies for cheap using the found footage gimmick.
Yep.
What's your favourite found footage film, Adam?
So there's one called Wreck. Have you seen that?
Never seen it. No, is it like a Spanish zombie film?
Yeah, it's very good. I liked Cloverfield. Totally different kind of sort of feel of found footage film, but I did like that. But yeah, I think I think Wreck might be my favourite of them. What
Nice. I think probably Cloverfield. However, I think this might be now.
Okay.
Like, went from love to hate just to love, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
The film itself has got its own mockumentary, The Curse of the Blair Witch. There's obviously a lot of money put into the marketing side, and it's probably one of the first ever films to use the internet to market itself.
Yeah.
So it had its own website with mythology about the Blair Witch and all that sort of stuff. I think there might be a diary written by Heather in like the lead up to the film available to see on that as well.
Nice.
And there's also, which you and I were talking about, there's a 3-hour version of the film available online. I think what has happened is somebody's taken all the deleted scenes and put them into the appropriate places.
Okay.
Which you'd said to me, I would like to watch that without watching it, and I know exactly what you mean.
Yep.
I think I'm the exact same. I think it would be. It's like if you were doing a proper project on it or something, it would be like worthwhile viewing.
Yep, definitely. I'd like all the information, but I just don't think I want to watch it.
Yep. Like exactly. Like I'd like to know how. Like I'd like to see the advert that they put out to get Mike, and then what brought Mike. What made him be interested in wanting to go into this with these two people? And
because they do said it quite early that Mike is like the outsider among these three. Heather and Josh know each other. They've already got an established connection. Poor Mike didn't even really know what he was signing up for here.
No, I think we might be. Yeah, I think we might get into that. I think we both feel the same. That Mike's been a bit shortchanged in this whole thing, and there's definitely a fan base of Mike as a complete asshole. Because of the map and all that. But let's talk through the film, and you can jump in. So, like you say, we're introduced right in the introduction there with Heather and Josh, who we are to understand are two friends and producing this documentary, and they go to meet up with Mike, and I think she says something like, thanks for responding to the advert or the posting or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's also like saying like, thanks for the opportunity. It's great to be going with you. My understanding or my sort of reading into it was that he was providing some sort of equipment that they needed. So. Was it sound equipment maybe?
Yeah, I think he's kind of borrowed this from a college or wherever, and because part of it plays in that a lot of his nervousness early on is he's got to get it back. He's got to get it back on time. Well, like when he seems to have agreed that it'll be back. So very much underlining they don't really have any money for what they're doing. They're borrowing, they're begging, all of that to try and get what they need.
Something that I hadn't noticed before, and I'm sure you would have, is that throughout the film we see two different cameras being used, or we're showing them from the perspective of seeing the video. So there's the black and white one, which they're using for their documentary, and then there's the colour video camera, which is sort of documenting what they're up to as did one of them say, I'm going to make a documentary about the documentary sort of thing? Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, so our trio travel to Burkittsville, Maryland, which itself just sounds like quite like gothic, or
it does, yeah.
And they're going about interviewing residents about the myth of the Blair Witch. I quite like the switching between the colour and the black and white camera, where it's like, have you heard of the Blair Witch? Would you mind being on camera? And then we get the black and white as Heather's then interviewing them.
It was quite a good tool doing it that way to just underline what is for what purpose, and it helps keep you on track. It's kind of like if you've got a song telling two sides of a story and it's two different voices. You want to be clear about what message is coming from each. So I thought it was quite a good tool of using colour for one of them.
Yeah, nice. One of the locals starts to talk about a man named Mr. Parr, a man who lived remotely from the town who had become infamous for abducting and murdering 7 children in the forest that they're going to in 1941. And we're told at that point the very specific detail. He didn't like to be watched killing the children, although he killed them in pairs. He didn't like to be watched killing them, so he'd make one of them face the corner whilst he killed them.
Yep.
And the guy said something like, Mr. Parr one day just walked down and said, "I'm done," or something like that. Like more mythology that's not really, we don't get any more about.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Right from the start, I think we've got your sort of good mix of people that they're interviewing as well. You've got your people who think this is purely a tale to, you know, make children behave. There's nothing behind it. There's nothing real behind it. And then you've got your absolutely sold on the, oh no, this happened and you don't want to go into those woods. It's right from the off, and I imagine that's exactly what would happen anywhere you went that had any kind of mythology and started speaking to people.
Yeah, 100%. They speak to a local woman who's carrying her child, and she starts to talk about, she's one of the ones that's a bit like, oh, this is folk tales sort of thing that we would use to scare the children. But it's like they hit the jackpot, because she starts talking about it and the little girl's like grabbing her mouth.
Yeah.
And saying, no, don't.
No. Yeah, it's perfect. I don't know how that could have come across better. It's just, no. I assume just luck.
Aye, has to be, eh?
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. The other one that they speak to, this local woman named Mary Brown, who is... how to describe her? She is what we would describe as off her rocker.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's the politically correct. Yeah.
but interestingly, she has the weaved vines as a lock on her gate, and she's got her own theories about the Blair Witch and all this. She's away in the clouds talking as she's talking to them.
Yeah.
What do you think about the theory that she is the Blair Witch?
I think they've done well to go with a theory that you could entirely believe, and it's not overly thrown in your face. I definitely wouldn't have picked up the first time I watched what she had on her gate, with being one of those, which you haven't seen yet, but you'll see as you go through the film. I think there's enough there to give it legs, but also not enough to put too much credence into it. So yeah, good theory.
Nice.
Yeah.
As they get in the forest, they also speak to a couple of fishermen, and they're also talking about a young child going missing called Robin Weaver, but they're talking about something that happened in 1888. So it's not like they're, like they're just bringing up the Wikipedia page. It's not like they're talking about something that's happened.
I really liked the combination of the two things. They're basically, you can tell they're just wanting to say to each other, "Get out of here!" And it comes across as every time we go fishing, you come out with this nonsense. That's what it seems like. But yeah, they're two complete opposites in what they think of this. But then I think even the one that's a bit of a skeptic, does he not say something like he wouldn't go be in the woods at night or something like? There's
they say where they're going.
I think it's nonsense, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that though.
Yeah.
Okay, so they leave the car. Goodbye at the car forever. They didn't know. They hike to a place called Coffin Rock, where Heather tells us that 5 men were found ritualistically slaughtered in the 19th century, and their corpses later disappeared. So they camped there for their first night. Why would you camp where people were found part of ritual killings? They camped there for the first night, and when they wake up in the morning, they find an old graveyard with 7 small stacks of rocks. There's not so it might seem like I'm jumping through this, but there's not particularly much happens until the next night. So the following night, they hear what sounds like the sound of sticks snapping in the forest, and I thought it sounded like you know the noise when you bang two rocks together, like you rattle a
Yeah.
rock off another one? I thought it sounded like that. And they're spooked. They're definitely spooked. I don't think Heather helps in these situations.
Nah. You know, we've all met, I think, those people who panic under pressure in a way that just makes things a lot worse. But she's incredibly annoying. Like, right from the start.
Yeah, she's intense and she's passionate. But
and all the way through, and even in like between night 1 and night 2, where there's not an awful lot going on, there's like this sort of simmering tension that Heather's leading them, but I think certainly Mike and a bit Josh both suspect she maybe doesn't know what she's doing.
yeah, we never see the map she's got, but I always suspect it's like hand drawn, like a Bart Simpson type drawing with like X's on it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, aye. She is the one that I would have said holds the lore. She is the one that is like, I get the impression is this is our passion project, and yet she's the one that completely shits herself.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, you've always got in the back of your mind, she wants this to happen because she wants to get this amazing documentary footage. So nothing happening through the nights, nothing going wrong, doesn't really suit her.
Yeah.
And I think the others are thinking that from quite early on.
Oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like you're loving this sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the following day, I would say that they're spooked and they decide that they're going to go back to the car, but they can't find the car. And within this sort of dense forest, they're sort of going around in circles and they end up making camp, which takes us to night time again. They hear roaring in the forest, more sticks snapping, and during in the morning they find 3 neat stacks of rocks, 2 either side the tent, 1 right at the front door, I think. It's at this point the guys are just like, right, like this. Obviously, this is weird. People are probably trying to spook us or whatever. Let's just get back to the car. I think Josh needs to get is it the DAT? Is it a DAT? The camera?
Yeah.
He needs to get back. He's also, at this point, he's saying, like, I've not taken time off. I've not taken any more time off work. I can't be here any longer. I've not told people where I'm going. People will be looking for me. So they decide it's time to get back to the car. Unfortunately, Heather cannot find the map. And this is sort of like the straw that breaks the camel's back. That the funny thing is, when she says she can't find the map, doesn't Mike like start screaming like "Ah!"
Yeah, he like I think you're kind of put in a position where you're believing Mike has just snapped and they don't really know him. So, and if you look at it from his point of view, he's there lost in the woods with 2 strangers. He doesn't know them. And it does feel like he's just maybe over the course of the additional day where it seemed like they were going to get out. They've not really made any progress on where they're trying to go, that he's just gone.
Snapped. Yeah. So yeah, he is losing it. He is screaming into the forest. But eventually, he starts killing himself laughing because Heather's going on and on about losing. And I get the impression Josh is like pretty reserved, level-headed kind of guy. But even by this point, he's like, how the fuck could you have lost the map, the thing that we're like dependent on?
He's telling her how irresponsible she is and all that. He's really having a go.
Yeah. In the distance, Mike just bursts out laughing. And she's like, oh, you think this is funny? He says, I kicked it into the river. That thing was useless anyway. She didn't know where she was going. And Heather's like a dog with a bone after this. She will, she's going on and on. Can't believe you would do that. You don't think it's funny, blah, blah, blah. What do you think of that decision? Do you sympathise or?
I think it's a little bit irresponsible here by Mike. I think much as we haven't seen the map, and I do share your concerns about how much information's actually on here that could be helping them out. I think it had become like a bit of a crutch, and it's gone. And kind of what are you left with now? I think they've still got a compass.
Yes.
But I do think Mike makes a valid point in that they had been trying to follow this map, I believe, all of the previous day, and they had not been able to get back to the car. So what help really was the map?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I did take his I take his point of saying like she has been following this and it's got us nowhere. But like you say, it's like they've been holding on to this like a crutch.
Mm-hmm. You would rather have the map than not. I'll admit that. Yeah,
they're probably sleep deprived at this point. Pretty scared.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't remember seeing the meeting. Do you?
No, actually.
So, yeah, all sorts of things going on. Tensions incredibly high.
Yeah.
So they decide to use Heather's compass to head south. They discover these stick figures hanging from trees, the kind that you and your friend had made.
It's pretty creepy, that whole area,
Those
yeah.
Because they're like, make sure you've got them all, and they're like, yeah, we have got them all, and then they turn around. There's even like millions more of them, tiny little ones in that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst one for me. At night time, they then hear more mysterious sounds, which sounds like children laughing.
Yeah,
definitely sounds of children.
Definitely was children laughing in that one.
And then something starts shaking the tent, like right in it, amongst on top of them.
Yeah.
So they just make a runner for it.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. I mean, I don't know what I would do, but if I could hear children laughing and they were shaking my tent, I think I would just probably piss myself and hide my sleeping bag. I'm not running out to it.
Yeah. Fair. Yep.
So they make a runner for it, and they're sort of we're seeing them through the sort of night vision of the video camera. It's really effective, I find, because they're basically crouched down, hiding, trying to see what's going on.
I think because you're just seeing, from our point of view, flashes as well, where they're pointing a flashlight or whatever. You don't at any point see anything clearly. And is this the point where Heather screams, "What the fuck is that?"
Yes.
And we've not seen anything. And she just sounds so traumatized by whatever it is she's just glanced.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think that is part of the horror, is not knowing what they're seeing.
In the state they're in, could be absolutely nothing.
Aye. In the morning, I think they spend the night out in the middle of the forest, don't they? They make their way back to the tent. They discover that Mike's stuff has been rummaged through and scattered all over the place. But Josh's stuff is covered in slime, which is really odd.
Yeah.
So I think it's at this point. Is it at this point that they realise that Josh has vanished, or do we go another night?
Josh is still there at this point. So when they go back to the camp, he's still there. Yeah.
Right. So once we get to the following morning, Josh has completely disappeared. Heather and Mike are screaming for him across the forest. And then the night after, you can hear Josh screaming.
Yeah.
So there's no indication that he's anywhere near at all through the day, but then at night time, you hear him, what sounds like he's in pain or crying out.
It's a cry for help, it sounds like. What we saw between those nights was the sort of confirmation that they've gone in a loop. They're not
That's
making
right.
any progress. They come to a tree crossing, and I think Heather's a bit in denial, but the others are like, yeah, we've already crossed this. We've been exactly here before. And then she is realizing, even if she's in a bit of denial, they've spent an entire day walking south according to the compass. They have not gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's quite an effective scene where she's like, that's not the same tree, that's not the same tree, and then she just sort of breaks and goes, that is the same tree.
Yeah.
What is your do you have a theory around that?
Not really, no.
Okay. Okay, I'll save it for the fan theories then.
Okay.
In the morning, after we've heard Josh's screams in the night, did they go out? Did they go out the tent to shout for him? I think they do.
Yeah, they did.
They do. Yeah. Heather finds a neat little sort of bundled up thing. It's all sort of bundled up in twigs. It's all tied together using suspiciously Josh-looking flannel shirt is used to bundle it all up. And inside the bundle, is that his tongue? I never...
I thought it was his tooth.
Right, okay. I had it in my head it was going to be his finger. I don't know where that came from, but then it was very, very pink.
Yeah. Really hard to tell what it was. But yeah, I thought it was a tooth. A lot of blood around it.
Aye.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it can be I thought it was his tongue, but then when we get to the house, he's shouting again. So it can be his tongue.
Stranger things have happened here, though.
Well, aye, that's fair. That's fair. Yes, she doesn't tell Mike.
No, I think so. Mike, he seemed to have taken a tiny bit of solace in finding some cigarettes. That just briefly seemed to make everything okay for Mike. And I think she maybe just didn't want to immediately re-traumatize him.
It's incredible awareness from Heather, given what we've seen her do so far. But yeah, fair play to her. At night time that night, or just like sort of early evening, it's dark, and she records that scene in which her face is right up at the camera, and she apologises to all the families of everyone for bringing everyone out there. And I think she says at that point, "We're not getting out of here alive," or something like that. That's quite a good. That's a really good scene.
I think I remember when I watched this years ago being a bit irritated by it because I was finding her very irritating, but it is actually very effective. It's very well done.
It sort of brings her back into focus as a human being and not just this annoying woman.
Yeah.
So later that night, they hear Josh shouting again, and they both decide to go to the tent, and they follow it, and they come across this what looks like an abandoned house in the forest. Pause there, folks, and just think, how is it that you've never came across this fucking thing? Yeah, anyway. Inside it's clearly abandoned. It's a bit of a wreck. There are children's handprints on the walls.
It's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in film, because they're really low down on the wall, and there's loads of them. Just all these little handprints.
That's so messed up.
It's so disturbing. And that might be my least favourite scene in this entire film, because it just puts thoughts into your mind.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
So it sounds like Josh is shouting from upstairs. I think, is it upstairs to start off with?
Yeah, but it changes, I think. Yeah, he's initially shouting from upstairs,
They run upstairs, and then it sounds like it's come from downstairs. So Mike takes off, and Heather's still up the top screeching, which is... That's horrifying.
Yeah.
The screaming, the Josh, and then Mike is running away downstairs.
As soon as Mike starts running, I'm like, no, don't just, like... I'm not sure if there's any way out of this for you, but stick together here. Don't run off.
So we know that Mike's got the colour camera, and we're following him as he runs downstairs. He's shouting, Heather, come on, he's down here. He goes down the stairs, and he hits the deck. The camera hits the deck and goes off. A couple of seconds go by, and then we're following the black and white camera. Now, I read somewhere that the black and white camera doesn't pick up sound, so you can hear Heather screaming, right? But the screaming that you can hear from Heather is coming through the other camera. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Heather comes down with this black and white camera. If it is Heather that's operating the camera, and Mike is stood with his facing the corner, and the black and white camera, the person that's holding it gets doof, and it hits the deck. And I think there's screaming.
Yeah.
A lot of screaming.
Yeah.
And the camera cuts to black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I was reading that they didn't have an ending for the film.
Okay.
So they didn't have anything. They didn't have, I think they had going into the house, but they didn't know how to finish it.
Right.
And I think somebody just came up with that on the fly, stand in the corner.
That's pretty good. Like, to just come up with on the fly, obviously linking in with the tale that was told earlier. So I have a feeling you have some fan theories that you can hit me with, because I didn't really look into that. What I did look into was quite a bit about the making of it, which I can go into after.
Oh, okay.
But you've mentioned a few things, like talking about how it is they've gone on a loop, and talking about, was it actually Heather with the camera?
Yeah, I've got a few. Do you want me to just sort of run through them and see what you think of them? So, first one, which is quite a popular one, Mike and Josh killed Heather. So they lured her into that house and killed her.
Okay.
I don't like that, do you?
Nah.
It's too easy, I think.
Yeah.
Josh and Heather conspired to kill Mike. You know, we know that they two were friends, and they didn't really know him, and vice versa. Again.
So, within that theory, is that for documentary purposes? Is that their determination to make this documentary? They're willing to kill off Mike.
Damn. Like, Heather does seem that determined.
She certainly, through a lot of the film, she does, yeah. There's times when there's absolute terror and she will not put down the camera. She just keeps filming. Yes,
that's a really good point, and something I never mentioned. Throughout, certainly, you know, like, the back end of the film, they're like, going to just put that down. Please just put it down. Get that out of my face.
Yeah, like, nobody's in the mood for this
peril here, aye. I quite like that. You've turned me onto that one. I quite like that. There's a theory that the witch can either move the forest around like a jigsaw puzzle, so she can sort of look at it from the top down and basically confuse them, so that they end up at that. You know, they end up constantly in a getting lost in a maze, and then end up at that house.
Okay.
I don't know what I feel about that. That is completely hypothetical. There's nothing to suggest that.
Yeah. Okay. Because if it is in my mind. If they are going on some kind of loop, why is it they've never encountered the house before? That's.
Another one is that when they enter the forest, they go back in time to when Rustin Parr. What is Rustin Parr? Am I making that up? I think it is. Was killing people, and that's the house, obviously, and that's the handprints and all that. And it's him that's doing the Blair Witch's bidding.
Okay.
Where is there was another one. There was that the witch has possessed Josh to become her new Mr. Parr.
Oh, okay.
So that it is Josh that does it to them.
Right.
But he's possessed by the witch.
Okay.
And I think we were told, I think one of these people, just going back to that time travelling one, I think we were told by one of the townsfolk that that house got knocked down, got like burnt down or knocked down or something like that.
Yes, I think that was mentioned. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the sort of main. I would say that's all the sort of main fan theories.
There's one thing I would like to know and understand, which is they've gone into the woods and filmed what they've filmed, and then ended up in that house, and you assume at least one, whatever theory you're going with, at least one of those three people has died in that moment that we've seen.
Yep.
Would that indicate that anyone who went into those woods would end up in the same cycle? And if so, or is it just because they're doing a documentary? Because how was the footage ever found?
So,
how did it get out?
Yes, so that's what supports the Mary Brown is the witch theory, because the theory goes that they obviously encountered her. She becomes aware they're making the documentary about her. She wants people to know about her.
Okay, yeah.
However, there is something that goes against that. I think somewhere within the film, it might be at the very start, it says that they found the videotapes buried under the remains of the house.
Okay.
Why would she bury them if she didn't want them? If she wanted them found. Okay. So what was your question?
Yeah, how did the if you're going with the sort of the theory that, you know, this would happen to whoever went into that area of the woods, how could the footage ever be found, basically?
Yes.
How could it ever be removed from there?
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think the good thing is there's some things that if you just take it purely at face value, you're going to have questions. And there's clearly a lot of ways that you can go with the things that happen. Because you can just take it as Mike is stood in the corner because whatever's down there is going to kill Heather, then kill Mike, because they do it in pairs, and that's been said. Or you could look at it in so many different ways. That potentially it's Josh doing it, that potentially it's not Heather that's got the camera, you know, potentially it's Josh and Heather killing Mike. You know, there's so many possibilities within that, which I don't hate. You know, I think leaving things open to interpretation in a lot of instances I don't mind. In some instances it really annoys me. But in this I don't mind.
Okay, I like it. I like the ambiguity. I think any one of those, if we'd got an extra 15 minutes of this film and it told us the answer, I think we'd just be like, oh, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think leaving it open is like there's no better way to have finished it.
Yeah, everyone can go with the theory that they like the best. And yeah.
So what theory do you like the best?
I think I talked myself into quite liking the thought that Heather and Josh killed Mike. I maybe have. I think the issue is I like, you know, a good ghost story and things like that, but I tend to more connect with things that are sort of rooted in some kind of possible reality. And that's probably the one of all those possibilities that would be. But I there's aspects of loads of them that I like, to be honest, what we've talked through. Have you got a favourite?
I think I'm going to just create my own lore here. But
okay.
I like the idea that, what's it called? Burkittsville?
Burkitts. Yeah, that place. Yeah.
I like the idea that it's like run down and somebody has found out that these kids are going into the woods to do this documentary, and, you know, like somebody like is involved in that has some sort of involvement or would gain from the tourism coming back to the place or something like that. So they've followed them and terrified them and done all that, and then just funnily enough the tapes have come out of nowhere and look, everybody's back and they want to everyone's back here and they want to hear all about the Blair Witch and how they killed these 3 kids and stuff.
I like it.
I'm picturing the guy from Jaws, the guy that wanted everybody to go on the beach.
Oh, you were always a fan of that guy.
Fuck it, just let them in the water, it'll be fine.
Oh.
Cool. I'm keen to hear about some of the stuff that you were talking about there.
So the 3 actors that appear in this, they were given food by the producers, but they reduced the amount of food per day. So the idea being that they were legitimately getting a bit weary as you were going, and it was getting worse as you got deeper into the recording because they were being basically food deprived as they were going through the process. While they were in the woods filming, they were given like instructions about where to go. So they're in area A and they're told how to get to area B. But that was basically it. So they are going along and they're filming as they're going through. And they're starting to feel themselves the sort of stresses of, are we lost? Are we going in the right direction? So a lot of their sort of paranoia, much as it was being exaggerated for, artistic purposes, they were feeling that as they're going through it. They were given no prior warning of what was going to be done at night.
Oh my God.
When they're in their tents. And that was, as you'll see going through the film, escalating and getting worse and worse each night.
Wow.
And I'm imagining I'm an actor and you're like, oh, that's fine. They're knocking together some rocks and snapping some twigs. And then 2 nights later, you're like, there's fucking children like laughing voices.
Oh no.
And then you're food deprived. You've been out there for days. It sounded horrendous for the actors.
God, no wonder they sued the studio.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the lines they were just given an idea, and a lot of the lines they're just improvising as they're going.
Wow.
They were given, it was GPS coordinates each day that they were given, and they had to be given a safe word by the producers, and at points where it was all just becoming too much for the actors, they would say that word, everything would basically stop and someone would come in and calm them all down a bit. Safe word was taco.
Wow.
Yeah. So they went through a hell of a lot.
That's really interesting. Where did is there a documentary about it?
So I just went for Google search. Nice. And found out quite a lot of info. Like this film, like you mentioned at the start, really did benefit from the sort of early stages of the internet age and making the most of that. So, but what I found about what the actors went through is apparently all legit.
Unbelievable.
Has been confirmed by those working on it. So, yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite? It's a difficult one to pin down a favourite scene on, but do you have one?
Yeah, so I don't know if favourite is the right word. I've got a lot more appreciation now for the scene where she's crying and her nose is running and she's speaking directly to the camera. I think the scene that had stayed with me was the child handprints, but I don't think I could describe that as a favourite. I think I find that more horrifying than the final scene.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just that thing in my head of, you do what you want with adults, but those were children.
Right. Fair.
So yeah, I think that it probably is the one speaking to the camera, I think. What about you?
Nice. That's a surprising choice. The one we talked about with the local, with the child putting her hand over her mouth is really stands out.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, but Mike's standing in the corner for me.
Yeah.
I feel like that image has been burned onto the back of my eyeballs for so many years of my life of being this point of terror.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that what stayed with you when you just didn't want to watch it again? Is that? Yeah.
It was the feeling of seeing it the first time, and it just, like I said earlier, like that thing of being like that adult is standing there against his will, but we can't see anything else. It's just so freaky for me.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so throughout this season, we've been talking about these films that influenced or created a subgenre and then influenced so many future films. With the Blair Witch, what films have you come up with that you felt that it has influenced?
So I mentioned earlier Cloverfield. Obviously, the sort of the handheld camera, which I think a lot of people really struggle with watching. I think sort of find it really disorienting with the movements the camera will make as it's going. I think from the found footage idea, you touched on Paranormal Activity earlier. It's become a huge franchise. You know what you see that it almost feels like you're not supposed to see in those films. And I absolutely would encourage you to watch Wreck, which is like it's a Spanish, sort of zombie or virus outbreak film, but it kind of has that feeling of you can only see what you're being shown through the lens, but the person that's holding the camera can see more than you can see. And hearing their reactions to something you're not seeing, which is it's just done really well in that film. So yeah, we'd already touched on all the ones I'd written down. You'll have more. You'll have lots.
I've got a couple more. So Paranormal Cloverfield is almost like the next revolution of Blair Witch. It's like Blair Witch with a much bigger budget.
Yeah.
Isn't it? There's the VHS films, I think we spoke about them last time. There's the Hell House films as well. They're all found footage. The thing with this is it must have encouraged so many people just to go, I could do that.
Yeah. There's a woods just behind my garden. I mean,
I can see them.
I've got a phone. I could go and do a wee film in there.
Go for it. That's what we could just play as our next. We could review it for our next episode. My Little Eye we talked about last time.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the found footage, but almost in like different subgenres. So it's Chronicle. I don't know if you've ever seen Chronicle. It's like a bunch of three young guys that get like superpowers. I think Michael B. Jordan, one of his sort of breakout films.
I've not seen that.
There's Project X.
Oh, classic.
So yeah, those were the ones I was thinking. Scary Movie as well. I feel like it's funny. Some of these films we watch and you just think Scary Movie's ruined some of the scenes from these films because because you get the one where is it Anna Faris's character is like right up at the camera and she's got like a huge big dollop of snotters coming out of her nose and all that.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a new Scary Movie which
I saw that. Yeah,
I think it's got a lot of the original people in it that probably walked away after the second one.
I don't know if I've ever seen the third one. How many is there?
I think there's maybe 5.
Is there really? Wow.
Yeah. I have only seen 1 and 2.
That's all. I think that's all you need to see. The guy with the finger and the cream pie and the watch my fanny child and all that. He's class. Okay. What? So we've been giving our ratings as we go through these seasons. We start at 0, 0 being the worst, and 6 Smiles being the absolute greatest horror you've ever seen. What are you thinking for your rating of the Blair Witch Project?
So I spent a lot of time thinking about this because you almost feel like you ended up you're comparing it with the other films that you've watched, which at times seems unfair because this is 3 actors that you've never seen in anything else and a couple of cameras and a lower budget, I imagine, than maybe Evil Dead, than any of the other films that we've seen on this list. And what it achieved was so impressive. So there are films I enjoy more on this list, without doubt. But I'm going to give this... I really enjoyed watching this again. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Right, okay. Nice.
What about you?
Solid. You're going to be surprised.
Cool.
This is the first film we've watched, I think. Don't get me wrong. I've really, really enjoyed a lot of the films we've watched this season. This is my favourite experience I've had watching these films this season. So I've went with 6 out of 6 smiles.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect you to. I think because I knew of your history with this, I thought this would end up being one of your lower scoring ones, but you've obviously enjoyed the experience a lot more than the previous times.
Do you know what it is? I like a lore, and I like the ambiguity as well, which gives you so much scope to sort of look into it a little bit more. And I think there's definitely a bit of that. We talked about that with The Thing as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm going 6 out of 6.
Did you see the Roger Ebert comments?
Yes. Yes, I've got some of his quotes here. So critics were generally very positive about the Blair Witch Project when it came out. Empire magazine ranked it at number 15 in its list of 50 best horror movies you must see before you die.
Impressive.
And our boy Ebes, Roger Ebert, gave it 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Now, what was the film that he didn't like again? The Thing. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let that go. However, let's just... He says, at a time when digital techniques can show us almost anything, the Blair Witch Project is a reminder that what really scares us is the stuff we can't see. The noise in the dark is almost always scarier than what makes the noise in the dark.
Nicely put.
Perfectly put, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sits at 86% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which surprises me. I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah.
I don't think the new generation would enjoy this film because there is no jump scares or monsters or anything like that.
Yeah, you're probably right. I take it this isn't one that you've watched with your boy.
Nah. I do have a 1-star review from Rotten Tomatoes from Rufus that I was going to read for you.
Okay.
I assume he is of said generation. It's supposed to be scary and easily could have been, but there's just nothing to be scared of. The first thing I thought after watching this movie genuinely was, where can I write a negative review? I really don't recommend it. Probably the main reason this film fails to be scary is that it spends the whole film building up this witch character, but they don't even appear in the movie. All it could have took to make this scary is the creature just simply being there. The film expects you to be scared, but there's nothing to be scared of. Probably the biggest waste of my time I could have spent on a Saturday afternoon. I really don't recommend.
Right, firstly, Rufus, what are you doing watching a film like this in an afternoon?
There's your first mistake, Rufus.
So, myself and Rufus see horror films very differently.
Yeah.
Right, everything he has described is why this works.
It's like the opposite of what Roger Ebert said, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't even get to see the monster, is what he said. Put it in the poster.
Just do better, Rufus. Just do better.
That would maybe intrigue me to go and see it, like a horror. You don't get to see what's the big bad. Nah, it wouldn't. But I do.
I think if somebody sold me on that, I'd be like, could work. We've seen it work.
See, I've never seen the Babadook, but if I went and stuck on the Babadook and you never got to see the Babadook, I think I'd be quite annoyed. Because it keeps talking about the Babadook in the trailer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So there we go, Blair Witch.
Yeah, nice.
I did not get around to watching the sequel or the 2016 thing.
Neither did I.
It's unfortunate. But
Is there anything you have been watching?
yes, I started writing them down because
Nice,
I
yeah.
keep forgetting. So, finished Half Man.
Okay.
We are on to season 6 of Peaky Blinders, final season.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the film I Saw the TV Glow.
Oh, yes.
Which I quite enjoyed. It was really odd, but I really enjoyed it as well.
Okay, good.
I watched Dodgeball.
Really?
A true underdog story.
Oh,
That was
I've not seen that
was the
for
film.
years.
That was the film my son picked to watch on his birthday.
Okay.
It's absolutely brilliant. It made me laugh that the number of quotes that we used to use over the years that came directly from there.
There was even an incident with a work printer, from what I remember. Yeah.
Oh, what was that? Oh, no, never mind.
It just printed off rules and then just
like
left there of Dodgeball.
Right, okay. I watched the supposedly scariest film you'll hear this year, Undertone.
Okay.
Which I was a little bit, I felt was quite anticlimactic.
Yeah, okay.
And finally I went to see The Masters of the Universe last night with my son and thoroughly enjoyed that. The best Jared Leto film you'll ever see.
Nice.
You never see his face and you've no idea it's his voice.
And I'm not going to end up in like his cult after watching it or anything like that. I'll be all right.
Well, maybe if he's collecting like Skeletor worshippers, because Skeletor's hilarious in it. But
what
about you?
So I watched Him, which was so weird.
When did you watch
it? Friday night.
Have you thought about it since?
I have a bit, but like, as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking, do you know, this doesn't feel all that far away from something that could happen. And I was also, I think I was a little bit disappointed with the ending in a way, because I think I wanted it to go differently. I think I kind of wanted him to just go and have his career.
Right.
Like, and I felt like that would have been the best / worst ending, like the one that would have made you think, oh. So
like go and have like just a sort of mediocre...
Like, almost like he decided, you know what, this actually is all worth it, so I'm just going to do it. Just like go along with it at the end, sign his contract. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I think it could have been a bit different.
I think it's quite difficult. Is it Marlon Wayans that's in it? It's quite difficult to take him seriously. Not to take him seriously. He's really good in it, actually. But it's almost like you kind of feel like the joke's on you because you're thinking you're taking it seriously, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I did quite enjoy it. I was quite... I knew something was going to happen, and then I found it quite jarring when you started seeing the ball hitting the guy in the face over and over again. I was like, where's this come from?
That's horrendous.
I watched a film called Dead Man's Wire, which isn't a horror. It's based on a true story. It was... I really enjoyed it, actually. Have you heard of it?
I think so. It's not a documentary. I think it's a documentary on the same thing, but
okay. It's. I was just trying to remember which Skarsgård it is. Bill Skarsgård. Very well done. Interesting story. I really enjoyed that.
Is this about the guy that walked between the two towers on a...
No.
Oh, okay. What's this about?
So this is... I'll just read the synopsis. February 1977, Tony Christis entered the office of Richard Hall, president of a mortgage company, and took him hostage with a sawn-off shotgun wired with a dead man's wire from the trigger to Tony's own neck.
Nice.
I've really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend that. And the other thing I watched was a TV show that I hadn't seen since it was first on, called Dead Set. Did you ever watch that?
Yes. Yeah.
which I was just looking for something to watch, and I saw it, and I thought, oh, wonder how this holds up. Holds up pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Scratch
rewatching
the
that.
old zombie itch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I like. That's such a random pick. I like it.
Yeah.
That's something that we've not touched on is zombies, and we might come back to that at some point.
Yeah.
There's definitely enough to do a full zombie season.
Yeah.
I've never seen any George Romero ones, have you?
I have. I've seen Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
Is there a Day of the Dead?
I think so, yeah.
I think there's also Night of the Living Dead. I've got it in my mind. I've seen 2 of them, but not all of them.
Right.
And not for a very long time.
See that the Dawn of the Dead remake? I think we went to see the pictures. Was that directed by Michael Bay? Am I making that up? No, that can't be right, eh?
Surely not.
That doesn't sound right at all.
It doesn't.
Oh, I tell you, it's Zack Snyder. It's Zack Snyder.
Okay.
So pretty close.
Well, yeah.
I was just thinking about that, and I was thinking, that can't be the guy that did. I was thinking it's the guy that did Transformers, but
yeah. It's you're not a million miles away.
Yeah, it's a shame because I remember quite liking that, and I remember us coming out of the cinema and being like, "That was class."
Yeah. I think I saw that one actually before I had seen any of the original ones. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's found footage in the bag, along with the vampires and the metas and the everything else.
Yeah.
We are going to move on to torture horror, is what I'm calling it.
Yes.
Because I don't like that other term that they use particularly. But it definitely became a thing, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're going to move on to torture horror with Saw.
Yeah.
Which I will need to. 2004 Saw came out.
God.
Very much look at it. It's been a long time since I've seen Saw.
I remember. I remember what happens, and I can't remember when I last watched it, but there's a whole host of films. I've definitely seen Saw and Saw 2, which is also good.
Saw 2, they're in like almost like what you would say now is like an escape house.
Kind of, yeah. And I've got it in my head. I've seen the third one, but I don't remember it. But I did say to you earlier, this could send me on just watching loads of them. That could end up happening.
There's a lot of them. I remember seeing a Saw X, which I assume is Saw 10.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And there's like one with Chris Rock, is it?
Yeah, is it Spiral?
Spiral or something.
From the book of Saw or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've never seen that. I think at most I've seen... I'm pretty sure I've seen 3. At most I've maybe seen 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward. I've just remembered that Danny Glover. I'm just looking at it on IMDb. I forgot Danny Glover was in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember the first time I watched it thinking it was brilliant.
Saw 3 says Jigsaw abducts a doctor in order to keep him alive while he watches his new apprentice put an unlucky citizen named Jeff through a brutal test. That definitely rings a bell with me. Yes, is his apprentice a girl? I think it maybe is.
Okay.
Amanda. Does that ring bells with you though?
Now that you've said it in the voice.
And Donnie Wahlberg's in it, isn't he? He's like a police detective.
Yeah.
So we're watching all Saw films before the next episode. That's what we're saying.
So I'm going to watch the first one and potentially some others, but I'm only going to do notes about the first one.
Okay. There must be a YouTube a video that's got like all of that condenses all the Saws into like a 20-minute video.
Yeah, probably.
I'll maybe watch that.
I had a flashback to a memory of a scene from Saw 2 where I think someone falls into like a pit of syringes, and that's nightmare fuel for me.
I thought it was glass, but as soon as you said syringes, remember it. Horrible.
Yep.
I'm going to hold on to these things until next week. I remember seeing Saw at the cinema, and it just been on a whim. Let's go see that. And the Dare You See Saw thing, on the billboard.
Nice,
amazing. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to watching that. It's not like we can. I wish there was a Saw prequel. I would go and watch that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is a film.
I would give them ideas actually.
That I do wish I could wipe from my memory what I know and then just watch it fresh. It's very good.
It's a little. That scene's a little bit like the finding the guy in the corner in the Blair Witch scene. It's like quite of a revelation at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's discuss in 2 weeks' time.
Excellent.
Hopefully, I'll be finished Peaky Blinders by then. Please.
You've gone through it pretty quick, to be fair.
Do you think?
Yeah. Doesn't seem long ago you were talking about season 2.
They're really starting to die off now.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you watched it all? Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you watched the film?
Yes.
Was the film good?
Yeah. I wouldn't leave too much of a gap between finishing the series and watching the film.
The only thing I care about is a death for Michael, because he's a little cunt.
Okay.
But apart from that, I don't mind how it finishes. I do. I was saying to my wife, this, it's 6 episodes. They could have condensed it into 3 episodes a season if they just got rid of all the slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow motion heavy rock music scenes.
They do. They do take their time with some things, but that's part of it.
I've absolutely loved Tom Hardy in it.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. At first, I was just like, I don't think I understand what he's saying, and he's quite annoying. And then by season, I think you're introduced to him in season 2, season 3 and 4. I'm like, I love this guy. He's amazing.
Nice. Good. It's. I think it's one of them where it maybe seems a bit daunting going all the way through it, but it's worth it. It is good.
Yeah. Right. Cool. We shall see Saw and then discuss in 2 weeks' time. Keep on smiling in the dark, Adam.
Nice. Cheers. You too.